Hello, hello, social media family. So, greetings. I'm gonna grab some sound. So if you're listening on headphone or have it turned up loud, you might want to pause it or turn it down. Even I needed that. I'm coming down off of some news. I just learned that Henrietta Lacks absolutely does have something to do with what's going on today. And I reread the article. If you don't know about Henrietta Lacks, look it up. I have a lot of theories about that because if what we've been told are African Americans are actually indigenous Americans, and Henrietta Lacks was deemed African American, and they found what is called an immortal cell in her body. Immortal cell. That's what they call it. She died in the 50s. Right? Oh, it's on the phone. Information. I didn't write it down. And it took up until, I can't remember when, just a few years ago, for WHO and other companies to admit that they basically stole her cells without her consent or permission, because back then you didn't need it. Anyhow, yeah. That tells me that her cells could actually be used to literally heal. But instead, her cells are owned by predominantly the pharmaceutical companies. Makes my stomach hurt. Which isn't funny, it's just the world we live in right now. It's just so pleasant on the world. Sending, high vibrations to the planet, to the world, whatever shape it is. Flat, round, globe, impenetrable, I don't know. But definitely some truth vibes need to get out there. So with that said, if you haven't already, check out my Telegram page, because I'm on Telegram. I'm subscribed to other people on Telegram, and I share a lot of information there that you may not find on YouTube anymore, because a lot of the information is getting censored, and other social media places. Telegram is a good one right now that I know of, that is basically a private platform that is specifically there for people to be able to share news and information that otherwise is being censored. For example, Dr. Malone is now on Telegram with something like 6,000 or I think it's 6,000 or 6 million followers. I don't think it's 6 million. I think it's 6. Anyways, he's gaining his followers back. There's others. Assange is another one that's on there. If you don't know about Assange, he's kind of linked to O'Keefe in the sense of information that has been otherwise censored from the world, not just certain countries, but from the world. So there's some information where I had a feeling Henrietta Lacks was related to all this, and it looks like I was right. Okay, so with the body, and that tells us a lot. Just, with moving into the body, what we actually don't know about our bodies. Immortal cells Doesn't that, oh, that's what I was saying. If we're actually indigenous, then I think that there's something else that they may know. And I think that this is why they try to convince us that we're not from this country. Because I think there is truths in the Civil Bible, truths in the old writings, truths about prophetesses and such. And I think they link back to the Americas. And I think they link back to this, the idea of immortality and the truth of it. And that the brown mother, or the mother in general, the indigenous mother, holds those keys. That's my theory. And I think that's why all of the stuff, because the most oppressed people on the planet are women and then children. So they must actually hold a lot of power. Otherwise, there would be no need to have such a lock. So it's like mental, emotional, physical, towards women. And I mean, I think it's expansive because women, I'm not talking about the body. I don't know why. This is where I'm going with it. Oh, well, we'll get to the body in a minute. When I was a kid, it was like I had to, well, my mom took care of it. But once I definitely didn't live at home anymore, it was my responsibility to pay for it. Feminine hygiene stuff. So tampons or pads, pretty much new underwear constantly. Pain relievers, and then different clothes, right? Hair products, makeup. I mean, the makeup, foundation, lipstick, eyeliner, mascara, eyeshadow. I mean, oh my goodness. And then the hair products. Oh, and then my nails. And then I would shave my legs and all the different kinds of those products. Oh, and then, you know, I couldn't smell, so all the different perfumes and stuff. And I grew up in the age of aerosol hairspray. Okay? All the money women spend. So it's like controlling the control, and or the controlling the power. And if you can control the power of the mother, then you can control the power of everything. And if you can convince people to help you control the power of the mother through, you know, virtuous steps, not virtuous. Well, sometimes they look virtuous. Maybe that was a Freudian slip, so to speak. But certain steps to oppress, suppress, and demonize her and that message. And it just keeps going. And also the information is like they kept it a secret that they even had her cells. So my theory is, I think that's also why the disappearance of the indigenous women, I actually think it's government related. Or these kind of places. Because I think the indigenous women hold keys that they know about, that said them. Because this was something, it's not like to pedestalize, you know, put any certain group or gender or race on a pedestal. It's just to kind of, this is my critical thinking when I look at, so not that it matters because I think most people do this, but my interest was anthropology, which is the study of man, right? And the study of man includes all kinds of things. It includes all the other ologies, geology, archaeology, sociology. There's so many. Psychology. So in little bits, and then each person. So, for example, like the shows like oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. NCIS, where they have a forensic person. They're a forensic anthropologist. They study the bones and how people might die, basically, or when they died and that type of thing. That's a forensic anthropologist. That's what they do, those kinds of, and other things, right? So anthropology is a vast thing, but it's the study of man. And I mention this because it's like we study ourselves and then learn from ourselves, right? Hopefully. I'm thinking that's kind of like the point. So when we are given more information about these stories or personal lives, people's lives, I think we're able to have a bigger idea of what may be going on. And so why hide this information about Henrietta Lacks for so long? I mean, there are books written about it, but it's not like general information. People aren't really taught about her. I certainly wasn't. I learned about her from somebody in our family that happens to be in the medical field. And then it wasn't until recently, in the last like 3 or 4 years, the information about African/Indigenous Americans really started becoming more evident. And so we're not taught this. You know, there are caves, and there were whole civilizations that lived in caves in the Americas. And we're not taught about that. As a matter of fact, most people are not taught much about the Indigenous Americans anymore. It's like not even really taught. So we're moving away from some truths, but I think there's an agenda behind that. And I think it's to continue, or I think it's breaking because the suppression of women is being lifted around the world slowly. And I think that's why this kind of like is happening, because even with like mandates and stuff like that, who's it falling on? Like women, mothers, or the main caregivers of the home, however that looks. All right. Why I went off on that, I don't know. But it must have been needed to be said, because I guess basically it's like, it's like, can you see the pattern and how it started with women and how it worked so well and how they just keep repeating that pattern because it works so well, right? Okay. And they keep secrets, and they, you know, and even still it's like, where are they getting the award? What the, anyhow. You'll see if you check out my Telegram what I'm talking about. All right. So 13 minutes in, and this is only going to be a half-an-hour video. It'd be cool to talk about the womb, but I don't really have that set up. I'm going to kind of go in the order I said. So we're moving on to the skull, but I also wanted to talk about skeletal tissues. And then also, one of the things that's really cool about these books, because they're made for, you know, either physical therapists, massage therapists, and some doctors, right, in their schooling. So at the end of these chapters, there are word origins and informations. And one of them that I just looked up this morning, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it again, because I tried to mark the book where I wanted to be at, but that wasn't one of them, is A is a Latin word meaning not or without. So when we hear the word asymptomatic, that's why they say that, without symptoms. I didn't know that. Didn't remember that, if I did learn it before. Okay, skeletal tissue. So we have different types of skeletal tissue. And so we have a classification of bones by shape. So we have long bones, short bones, and flat bones. So long bones are, they have a longitudinal access to them, meaning a long access, right? There's a distance in it. So examples of long bones are the humerus. So this bone from your shoulder to your elbow is your humerus. Your femur, which is the bone from your hip to your knee. Your radius ulna, which is the bone, your ulnar bone is your pinky, right? Yeah, ulnar nerve, right. So the bone that connects, this is the rotating one. Oh, I need, my wrist feels like it needs to pop. The rotating one. These are long bones. And your fingers. These are long bones, okay? Those are examples of long bones. And then short bones are short. They are as wide as they are long, and they are often described as being cube-shaped. Examples of short bones are the carpals. So the bones in between my wrists, the ones that I was just saying that sound like they need a pop, and the ankle where it kind of rotates, right? Those are considered short bones. And then flat bones are flat. That is, they are broad and thin without either a flat or perhaps a curved surface. Examples of flat bones are the ribs, the sternum, and the cranial bones of the skull and the scapula. So your scapula is what we call your angel wing bones, the bones, see, and then we'll get to muscles, right? Because I'm trying to show you my scapulas, which is back there. It's behind me. Then also, like the patella, which is the bone on top of your knee. That's called, I think that's an irregular bone. Am I right? Oh, no. No, the patella would be considered, I don't know what the patella would be considered. I want to say a flat bone was F. Oh no, that's a sesamoid bones. They are considered to be a type of irregular bone. So we do have irregular bones. Oh, see, that's next. Irregular bones. They are irregular in shape. They're not nearly flat onto any of the three preceding categories. They are neither clearly long, short, or flat. So those would be the vertebrae, facial bones of the skull, and sesamoid bones. And sesamoid bones are named, that's just fun to say. Probably named after a goddess. Anyways, are also named because they are shaped like a sesame seed. Oh, that's interesting. So I'll show you. So your patella. It does kind of look like a sesame seed. Okay. Then we have, because sesamoid bones are round in shape, they can sometimes be known as round bones. The number of these bones in the body varies from one individual to another. Additional bones. The number of bones in the human body is usually said to be 206. The number can vary slightly from individual to individual. Whenever a person has more than the usual number, it's called supernumerary bones. And so additional sesamoid bones other than the 2 patella are considered to be supernumerary bones. Okay. And are also usually present at the thumb and big toe. Okay. And then Warmian bones, which are small bones that are sometimes found in the suture joints between cranial bones of the skull. It says occasionally individuals have additional anomalous bones such as a 6th lumbar vertebra or cervical ribs. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So, we have different parts of the bones and different functions of the bones. So, structural support, they provide levers for body movement protection, blood cell formation, and storage of reservoir for calcium. I think I mentioned that before. All right. So, oh, then we have spongy bone. I think I mentioned that before. So our bone has these different parts. So here's just some pictures of our bone. The inside of our bones. Growth of a bone. You know. Oh, it's so interesting. It's kind of like the inside of a bone. The inside of a bone. Here's the inside of a muscle. And here's some other pictures of just how our muscles go together. And then if you look up like brain cells, they all look the same. It's so awesome. And that's like how amazing our bodies are. You know, our bones have cells that know what to do for the bones. The eyes have cells that know what to do for the eyes. Our teeth have cells that know what to do for the teeth. And then there's this whole system that like keeps everything going without me having to say like, okay, literally like blink or send waters to my eyes and send water into my mouth and keep my lungs going and keep my heart pumping and keep my blood flowing. Like we don't have to do that. So these are other ways that we are like, isn't that kind of like a part of physics? I might be wrong in that, but it's like perpetual motion. I don't know. I could be reaching. We'll talk about cartilage, like cartilage part of your ear. We have cartilage in between our bones. And then we have cartilage as part of like our ribs where things are connected. Okay. And then we have our tendons and ligaments, which we'll get back to when we start talking about muscles. But today we're going to talk about the skull. All right. I think I showed some pictures before. So here's the skull. And basically these different colors are where our bones either they're like, these are the separate bones in our skull. So we have our jaw. And then we have, see that green part of this part. This is why sometimes you can have people born with a cleft palate, because what ends up happening is this does not completely fill in. Okay. And then you can see some colors on the side. Okay, here we go. Bone, 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 bone. bone. Okay, and then I just want you to kind of notice, so this bone right here has a muscle in it called the masseter, right? And what it does is it connects down here so that it acts as a lever, because your jaw is actually a lever. It wouldn't function without a muscle helping it open and close. And see how this part of your teeth is fixated, where this part needs to move. Well, another part that helps us move connects to the back of your head. So that one helps open it, and then this one helps also close it, okay? And so this is why when I was speaking about if you get a migraine, you're basically pushing right here where those two muscles come together, and you're bringing some relief to both this one and this one, okay? And we'll talk about the muscles more as we move forward, because I think muscles are important. But it helps to know. Oh, and then you can see like cartilage is on the end of our nose, right? Because you see that the bone, you can see why that would be so freaking painful. So, ouch. Sorry for anybody's ever hit their nose. Okay, and then here's a couple more pictures. So this is from behind the head. And then we actually have this little notch right here. And it has, I think, 3 muscles that connect to it. And it's interesting because I've heard there's something called a Celtic notch or a Celtic knot, basically saying like people from Ireland or Scotland have that notch. However, I don't know if that's completely true, because it looks like we all have that notch back there. Maybe we don't. And then this is like if you're looking from underneath, and you can see, and they kept all the colors the same. So like this is our jaw, you can see our jaw and our part of our nose, and then this is the back of the head. This is where your neck and nervous system connects through. Like, that's how amazing we are. It's pretty incredible. Okay. Ocular, here, one more. This is the sagittal section, orbital cavity, so it kind of shows the eye cavity here too. Okay. So we have, you know, on a kind of like a spiritual level, this is why you'll see the skull represented in a lot of places, because it relates to so many things. It's quite amazing. And your teeth, like, they grow out of nowhere. It's pretty cool. Pretty amazing stuff. Like, just fascinating. The different shapes, like some of these bones in our head look like a moth or a bat. Look at these. Isn't that cool? So knowledge, the connection to the body, heart, to the nervous system, and then even to the chakra system. Okay, because your spine connects to every part of your body, and then what's interesting is your feet connect to every part of your body. So when you work on your feet, when you get a massage, when you're doing movement, you're literally helping everything work together. Okay. All right. So thanks for listening, sharing again. Check out Telegram if you're interested in, I mean, there's other stuff on there too. One of the other kind of like astrologer healers, she's on there as well, because mostly what I see Telegram is as a way of saying no censorship, and So if you're listening, I'm about to do some bells. And you might want to remove your headphones or turn it down. I'm going to do a singing bowl. And end the video. Take care of you. See you next time. Thanks for watching.